So here we are, folks, back out in the bush. I wasn't planning on having a hardcore ride today, so I didn't bother putting the GoPro on, but here I am. Reason I was planning a soft ride, so as to speak, yesterday I put a new tube in, and those observant will notice I also have a new tyre on the rear. Just recently I've been having some dramas with punctures on the rear, and I had 3 punctures. Each one of them was on the inside facing the rim. I inspected the tyre. There were no penetration marks going through it in any position. I inspected the inside. There were no foreign objects in there to cause tears or damage. I did repairs, and then they'd last at most 2 days, and then they would concertina up, and I couldn't work out what the hell was going on. And yesterday I noticed the tyre was flat for the 7th time, so I turned the bike upside down, took out my spare tube that I've had from the previous bike, and it's had many thousands of kilometres bouncing around, so I double checked that I'd packed it properly and there were no rub marks or wear points on the tube. Took out the one that was on the bike, and then noticed that the replacement was a lot smaller than the one I'd taken out. So then I got curious and searched for the markings, and discovered that the tube that was in the tyre was one size larger than the tyre, which meant instead of expanding to fill the void, it scrunched up to fill the void when I pumped it up, which, as a relief, I thought I was going insane trying to work out what the hell I was doing wrong. Apparently I wasn't doing anything wrong except not reading the tube size. So whoever put that in, I assume it would have been okay, except for the fact I do tend to torture the tyres, and let's be honest, this particular new bike, they're marketing it to the people who like to ride an electric bike from the country club to the golf club. So they don't really market this for people like me who like to go hardcore out into the bush. By hardcore, that means I ride tracks that are barely tracks, rough as, sharp as, etc., etc. So at least I sorted that out. So while I'm here, I've been experimenting, playing with a few things this morning. I played with starts. So I got the bike onto the largest cog. I stopped the bike, and then I went through different power settings, just seeing how responsive the power assist was, because I've had a few times in the bush where I've been stuck on some rough hill climb areas, let's say, and I'd have a lot of pressure on the pedal, and there's a delay in the power assist coming in because they've changed this from the previous model. So it's no longer just torque sensor says go, it takes into account cadence for the algorithm now, and I got a bit frustrated with it, to be honest with you. However, playing with this now, I have discovered I actually can get an instantaneous power surge, but you must be on the largest cog, and you get a slightly slower one on the next cog down. So, largest cog, eco, fairly responsive, no worries. On tour, that felt good, and the wheels jumped a little bit. On active, the wheel came right up and the bike went left. I didn't crash, but it did surprise me at the height the bike got to and the speed it got there. And then I went to the sport mode, and again it lifted the front wheel with absolute ease while I was on the largest cog, and I'd start with the pedal at the highest point of its arc so that I gave it instant and I had a good feed through on it. So that was a surprise, and that gets rid of my, whoop, don't worry about the blowing, I'm blowing mosquitoes away, I'm being nibbled on here. So that was a surprise, and now I'm less critical of the new algorithm because I know I can work it out and use this. Catch you around. I've got to go. Mosquitoes.